Hi everyone, it's Kathy from To Dye House. Today is Saturday, April 20th, 2019. I'm back for another video a little sooner than I expected to be, so I'm going to go with that. If you're subscribed and you're returning, thank you again for stopping by and spending some time with me. And if you're new here, welcome. I'm so glad to have you come and visit me at my channel. I hope you subscribe as well. It's been about 2 weeks since my last video. I have actually kind of quite a bit to show you in the way of stitching and a couple of other groovy things. Yeah, so let's get into it. So the first couple things I wanted to share with you are people, these are the people in your neighborhood. I've left that out of my last couple of videos, but I've been catching some new people, and then also I have I'll just tell you about it. So the first person I wanted to share with you is Desert Stitcher. Her name is Joanne. She lives in California, I think. Pretty sure she lives in California. She's a big Game of Thrones fan like me, and she's been doing these pieces. They're floral patterns, but they're in the shape of states. So I guess she's originally from Florida. So she's doing like the floral Florida, and she's doing floral California. And they're beautiful. I've seen them before, but when you see them, somebody working on them and them being stitched, and you know, they take on a whole new dimension. And then the other channel I wanted to share with you, it's been around a while. But it's been revamped, I guess you would say, is Kitchen Stitchers. And that is Arlene and her husband, and I think his name is Dave. I've always enjoyed watching Arlene. She's just a really sweet, delightful person. And now her husband, Dave, is joining her. He's a chef, and he shares cooking tips and like how to prepare a steak the best way, if that's your thing. You know, it's, you know, what knives to use, just really good kitchen tips and cooking tips. So, so go and check out Arlene and her husband, Dave. You'll get some really good, great ideas. And then while he's cooking dinner in the background, she's showing her stuff, and it's just really, how lucky to have a chef in the house, right? I mean, those are good eats, I bet. So, yeah, go check out Arlene and her husband Dave. That's Kitchen Stitchers. I'll link them below. And Joanne at Desert Stitcher as well. And speaking of Joanne, Desert Stitcher, she is a Game of Thrones fan, like I mentioned. I am as well. Darren went out to run some errands this morning. And when he returned, I found these on the kitchen counter, and he bought these for me. They are Game of Thrones Oreos. I'm a little afraid to open it, but let's see what, I wonder if they have like the Iron Throne on the, ooh, crinkle, crinkle, big time. I'm curious to see if the Iron Throne is on the Oreo. Oh, they have, look, you probably can't see it. Maybe you can. I think that's the weirwood tree. Or is that the lion crest? Can you tell? So they have Game of Thrones on Oreo on one side and Game of Thrones stuff on the other side. Cookies crushed. What's this guy? I can't tell what they are. If you watch Game of Thrones, what do you think that is? Oh, that looks like the three-headed dragon to me. So yeah, so Game of Thrones Oreos. You know, I'm going to be diving into those. I will not eat them now because then I'll have black cookie all stuck in my teeth. And really, who wants to watch somebody with like black cookie stuck in their teeth? Speaking, it's kind of gross. Yeah. God, man, we got some milk downstairs. I'm going to be dunking those bad boys. And speaking of Game of Thrones, my last video I was doing a Pass the Stash. I had a duplicate copy of Firewing Designs Samurai. And the person who was selected to receive that is Connie from Count Twice, Stitch Once. So congratulations, Connie. I will go back and reply to your original comment. And if you send me your address, I'll make sure I get this out to you. So congratulations. You know, I'm doing this one, and I'll show it to you in my whips in a minute. But this is my Drogon piece. And Connie is also a Game of Thrones fan. So I went to go see the play on Broadway, Hamilton, with Carmen, the Broadway Stitcher. She had an extra ticket, and I had been talking with her at a meetup a couple months back, and I said, well, if you can't find anybody to buy that ticket, I'll take it. And I did, and it was wonderful. It was really, really wonderful. It was obviously not the original cast, but it was fantastic, especially if you love history, but then you love like modern things too. We were talking about it. We were like, who would put that together? Like reading a book on Alexander Hamilton, you know, his biography, and then making rap songs and modern day songs. It was great. It was great. I can see what all the hype is about. It was great. So I went into New York and spent some time with Carmen. And she's just a doll. I mean, she's just such a nice person. And I'm going to see her again at StitchCon. So that was one thing that I did in the last couple of weeks. I had showed you up here, Jiminy Cricket, and I put it on a little like candlestick holder, glass candlestick holder turned upside down. Vicky had suggested that maybe if I find a wooden spool to put that on. So I would rather do that because I think that's even a better idea. So I'm looking for a little wooden, like an old wooden spool. I'll be hitting some thrift stores and see what I can find. So once I find one, I'm going to take your recommendation, Vicky, and transplant Jiminy Cricket to a wooden spool from his little glass pedestal right now. And speaking of crickets, we have a cricket problem. I don't know if it's just spring or something's driving him inside, but like every day when I go down we have a finished off basement, and that's where my office is. Like the cats are chasing crickets around. They're jumping everywhere. Crickets everywhere. So I think that might be a result of me Jiminy brought his friends. I hear my cat crying. Orion, come on. Come on, buddy. Yeah, there you are. He's coming in. He'll jump up in a minute. I better put away the orders. The last thing I need is the cat going after my... See, there he is. And he jumped up right where the cookies were, too. Come here, buddy. People want to see you. Come here. They don't want to just see your tail. They want to see you. Okay. So here's my boy. The one that's always jumping up. Okay, so yeah, we have a cricket problem. Don't know what to do about that. I'm hoping the cats will take care of it. Hoping. And then the other thing is, and I'll insert a picture here. A couple of weeks ago, so, you know, I have a dog. Her name is Daphne. She's commandeered the guest bedroom. So she sleeps on the queen size bed in the guest bedroom. That's her bed. And often, you know, when she jumps down off the bed, you hear that kind of light, especially if you're down in the basement, you can hear the light, the thump. And the other day I was down in the basement and I heard, it wasn't a thump, it was like thump. It was really loud. And she hit the ground barking. She was going ballistic. So I quick ran to the sliding glass door because I was like, who's in the yard? Like, are there deer in the yard? There was a bear running across the yard and into the woods. So, you know, it probably had come from the farm field across the road, across the property, and then, you know, ran through our yard and out into the woods. And we had one last year, right after we moved in here. I'd been feeding the birds, and I have a planter out on, like, we have a little, like, landing area deck. I have a planter on that, and I had bird seed in that. The birds had polished off the bird seed. But when the bears came out of hibernation, I guess there was like 1 or 2 seeds left in that thing. And one morning, Saturday morning at 5:30 in the morning, she was at the door, like at the sliding glass door, going crazy. And I got up and I kind of like moseyed, and then I came around the corner in the kitchen, and there was this giant bear up on the deck, and it was like balanced up on the rails. But they're very timid animals. People are afraid of them. And you know, you have to respect nature. People are afraid of them. But honestly, their first option is to run. They do not want to, and you know, they don't want to be bothered with you. So this poor bear is up on the deck. And Daphne's at the door like, I'm going to rip your throat out. And the bear was like, where do we go? What do we do? And it jumped down from the railing onto the deck. And I actually felt the kitchen floor shake a little bit when it did that. And then took off through the yard and actually went up in a tree in our yard. When they're really afraid, they'll go up a tree. So it was up in that tree for probably half an hour. And then after, you know, we closed the blinds and everything because we were like, if the dog doesn't see it, she'll stop barking. She barked for like an hour. She just kept going. I know it's out there somewhere. In any event. So when she hit the floor just a couple weeks ago, when she hit the floor barking, she was going bananas. I ran to the sliding glass door, and sure enough, there was a bear running across the yard. And which prompted me then, I received a trail cam for Christmas. And I had asked for one, and I received one. But I hadn't been checking the photos on it at any regular intervals. But then I went and checked the photos. I downloaded the photos, and I was scrolling through them. And so here's the picture. We call him Barney. He's a big boy. Oh, he's so beautiful. Barney. So needless to say, we take the dog out. We have to make lots of noise, and we have a neighbor down the street who has like a little mini farm, and she sells fresh eggs, and she's got, oh, it's adorable. I gotta tell you this real fast. We live on a country road, so when you're coming up, there's a little sign that says fresh eggs, and I've gone by it a bazillion times, but I finally turned in. And they have like a little farm. They have in their garden area, they have the posts, and on each post they have a bluebird box. Then she's got a really cute little like coop for her chickens. She's got a bunch of chickens and this beautiful home with a pond in the front. It's really beautiful property. So I rang the doorbell because I said, I see that you're fresh eggs, but I've never. She said, "Oh, you just drive up the alley a little bit, or up the dirt road a little bit." And she said, "You'll find an old truck up there, and there's a cooler there, and there's a little metal box, locked box, and you just put the money in the box and you take the eggs." So I drove up, and she had this old. It was like one of the old red trucks, parked there, and inside, like, kind of attached to the dashboard was a metal box, so you put your money in, and then she had like a cooler with the chicken eggs in it. So I bought a couple dozen eggs. It was really, really neat. In any event, I was telling her, I said, "Oh, we have a bear," and she said, buy an air horn and take it outside with you. So if they come around, oh, this is driving me bananas. Keep looking at it. So if they come around, you blow the air horn, it'll scare them right off. So I said to her, "Well, we have a dog." And she said, "No, they'll take a swipe at the dog." So I have an air horn on my shopping list, something I never thought I would ever put on a list to pick up. Okay, so that's kind of like, that's what's going on in my neighborhood. A couple things to share with you other than the Game of Thrones Oreos. Aren't they great? They're so cool. My friend Barbara sent me a belated birthday present, and I just thought these were so pretty. This towel, it's a dish towel. But look at the kind of like geometric birds. Aren't they neat? I think it's just so pretty. I love the color in it and the flowers. Oh, I just think it's so groovy. Isn't that neat? Look at the spider web. So, again, I'm going to try and figure out how to make this into a project bag because it's too pretty to use for dishes. And then she sent me, and I'll be wearing these tomorrow because tomorrow's Easter. Little Easter socks. So I'll wear those tomorrow. So thank you, Barbara. Oh, one more thing she sent me. She sent me a couple of other things. She sent me like a pedicure kit. She sent me some chocolates. But she sent me this, and this is stitching related. This is from So Much to Love, I think she said. Yeah. Yep, it's a So Much to Love. And it's a mug liner. And so this is just a regular coffee mug, but then she makes these liners that have pockets so you can stick pens or scissors, or she sent me an emery board in there. And you can keep this by your stitchy spot. And also, I would imagine, I didn't even think about this until just now, but oh, it has a couple little, so I guess that's more mani-pedi. When you think about it, scissor sheath, you could put your oats down in the middle. I didn't think about that till just now. So I think I'm going to keep that by my stitchy spot. And I love it too. And it's, you know, it's Paris. So in case you couldn't tell, I love the whole Paris thing. Eiffel Tower. And speaking of Paris, it's old news now, but I was so sorry to see the cathedral at Notre Dame burn. It's such a beautiful cathedral. But I've also seen that a lot of people with a lot of money are donating to have it rebuilt. And I think that's a wonderful thing, but I also hope those same people keep other charities that are not so wealthy in their hearts and minds when they're considering making donations. So yeah. But I'm glad it's going to be rebuilt, and a lot of the windows were saved. You know, I love those types of buildings. I mean, they're hundreds of years old. When you think about all that building has seen, the windows are just the stained glass. It's gorgeous. I understand they have beehives on the roof, and the bees survived, which I was very, very happy to hear. Yeah. It was sad. It was just sad to see that. And a lot of people had a very strong reaction to it. I did as well. But buildings can be rebuilt, right? But they'll never be the same as the original. Kind of like that bittersweet thing. All right, onward. Okay, so hauls or finishes first? Let's do finishes first. I have some FFOs. I had taken, last time I spoke with you, I had taken some things out to the framer. They're all back. And so yeah, so let me show you. One of the things I took out was 'Tis the Season. And that's back. And Darren had picked out the frame on this one because I was kind of undecided. So he picked that out. So my 'Tis the Season is all framed. Oh, if you tilt it, you can see. There you go. So that will come out at Christmas time. The other thing that I had framed, and I had finished this. This was part of a stitch along that I participated in last year. And this is Spooky Countdown by Primitive Hair. So I just did it in plain. I have a lot of Halloween pieces that are framed in this black wood. It's funny because when I went to the framer, they were like, you want the barnwood and you want the black wood, right? I was like, yup. That's why the 'Tis the Season thing gave me such a difficult time because neither of the typical moldings that I use fit that. So once again, Spooky Countdown. Isn't it cute? I did change some of the colors when I stitched this. But it's so adorable. You know me, love primitive hair. The next one that I got back is Spring ABCs. And I had been telling you that I had finished this. And here it is. Now, our house is gray with a red door, so I changed the house color. But here you go. Spring ABCs. Little house. And then the other one I got back, now I finished this last year, but it's been kind of sitting waiting to be framed, so I took them together, is Summer ABCs. Also by Little House. Same molding on both. These. And I was watching Priscilla and Chelsea. The original chart had apples with the A, and Priscilla had changed out that she just did the A and then she did B's. So I picked that up and I did the same thing. So thanks, Priscilla, for that suggestion, because I think it's so much better. At the time she was saying she thought, you know, apples were fall to her, and I agreed. So that's my summer. Ice cream, lemonade, picnics, watermelon. Really cute. Summer ABCs. So now I have all 4 of them done. I have spring and summer. FedEx guy's here. Daphne's growling. Probably can't hear her, but she might start barking. Autumn, which I showed you last year. And winter. So now I have all my 4 seasons, which is great, and I love that. So those are my FFOs. I have another FFO. It's a gift for someone, so I can't share it with you right now. But after the gift is received and with her permission, I will share that with you at another time. Okay. So, finishes. Check. All right, whips. Make sure that doesn't get all crinkled. Daphne. So, I have been working on this for Darren's birthday. This is Samurai. And I just showed you the chart as a past the stash. And this is where I'm at. This is going by really fast. This is a pretty quick stitch. I can get a little more light on it. So like I said, I'm doing the wings in a variegated, and the head and the body are in Poison Apple by Victoria Model. Let's try that again. Ran out of memory right in the middle. Thought I deleted everything. I usually try to keep my iPad memory clear. Anyway, yeah, so that's where I'm at. Now, one thing, I think I'm going to take this wing out. And the reason is, I stitched this wing on the vertical, and I stitched this on the horizontal, and I like the way the variegation comes out on the vertical better. So I'm going to probably take out this wing right here and restitch that in the vertical. But honestly, like, if it were really tragic, I might leave it, but it is stitching it's stitching really fast, so so I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal for me to go back. I'm going to do that right at the end, after I finished everything else on it, though. So I want to see how the rest of the wings come out before I make that final leap. This is A Moment in Chalk, hands-on design. And I finished my April block. So, okay, let's try this again. Keep running out of storage. But I went, total side note, I'm on an iPad and I delete my videos as I load them onto my computer and then I edit them on my computer. But I had some videos that were like in the recently deleted, so they were still taking up storage space. Now that I've deleted that, I think I'm good. Onward. Okay, so A Moment in Chalk. This is A Moment in Chalk, and I have finished the April block. So then I'm on to, now the May block will be down here. So that's where I'm at with that. I'm going to start the May block this week to get a jump start on it. Like I said, I'm trying to get ahead so that by the end of the year I can get the border finished. And, yeah. And then this is what the May block will look like. So that's May. You know, I think I'd mentioned it, well, I know I'd mentioned in a prior video, each one comes with a button pack. And I was really thinking, oh, I won't do buttons. I like it without the buttons. And then I saw the May one and that little B button just... So, buttons are back on the table to be decided at a later date. But, yeah. So, that's A Moment in Chalk. And then I'm back to Harbor Haven. This is the block that I'm working on. And this is where I'm at. Yep. So, I'm almost done with that second block, which is block number 11. I love this piece so much. I just really love it. So I really just have some straight filling in and a couple little back stitches to do in that next block, and I'm going to try to get that done today so I can move on to the third block. Now my friend Barbara had asked me, and yes, Barbara, I am stitching it on one. It's going to be really long. So it's one giant piece. So that's the beginning. It'll go all the way across. Barbara had asked me to show each individual chart. So I'm going to do that for those that are interested in seeing what each individual, because you can do each individual one if you just like one particular block, or I'm doing all 12 of them. So, and I'll do them backwards because this will be the order that I do them in. No, I'm going to do them forwards. Okay, so this is the first block. And the second, that's a pretty thick chart. Do I have two in there? Nope, it's one. It's pretty thick. And then the third, or scene 3. Got those little like hydrangea bushes down there. And 4, scene 4. Scene 5. Scene 6. I am going to make an adjustment on this one. I'm not going to have people in my thing, so I'm going to have to figure out, like, I'll probably continue, that'll be all water. I'm going to have to just take that out and continue whatever colors are going through there. Because I just want it to be a scene. I don't want people in it. And the same for this one, so 6 and 7. Has a little fisherman. So I'll probably leave like the buoys in there, but I'll take out the fisherman and his pole. So these two I'm going to make that modification on. Scene 8. seam 10. I didn't hold that up very long, so that's 10. And this is 11. And this is the one I'm currently working on. And then 12, and this is the one that I finished. And at the top is all of them together. So mine will look like this up here. Not the people. One thing I did want to ask, if you have any suggestions, I noticed, I don't know if you can really see it here, but on the ship, on the sailboat here, I don't know if you can see it, there are straight stitches from the top to the bottom. And when I hold it, those stitches lay fine. But there are times I'm looking at it and I'm like, you know, they do kind of tend to pop up and move around a little bit. So I'm thinking about tacking them down, but I don't know the best way to do that. And I don't, can you see? Probably hard to see, but they're long, straight stitches. And it kind of has to be that straight stitch. You want that singular line. I was thinking about going back and trying to back stitch it, but the angle of it, it crosses over threads in the middle. And so if anybody out there has any suggestions as to maybe how to best tackle that piece of it, let me know. And I want to just maybe I'll just take a little thread and just tack it down, and you know, a couple of different points just so it doesn't move around too much. But yeah, I'm loving this piece, and I don't know if you can tell, this fabric is Peaceful Waters by Silk Weaver. It's a Zweigart fabric, and it does have modeling in it. So on the charts, it's really hard to see, but there are white clouds on the charts. I'm leaving the clouds out because the light and the highs and the lows and the light and the modeling of the fabric are more subtle, but they're serving as my clouds. So that's something that I'm doing. So that's where I'm at with that. And thanks for your question, Barbara. Yeah, I don't know. I know people have shown it as one big piece. I don't know if people showed, you know, all the charts, but that's what they all look like for your reference. My boy is back. It's driving me bananas. Darren was saying the other day, he's like, that cat. And I'm like, because I thought maybe it was just me, you know, like maybe I just didn't have, he's a cat. And he does cat things, and, you know, he's a cat. But the night that I went into New York to go to the theater, I didn't get back home until like 1:30 in the morning. And he was like, that cat was all over me. He is so needy. He is. I don't know if it's because I got him when he was really young. And I don't know if it's because he didn't have enough time with Mama Cat, maybe. I mean, he was eating solid food. He was probably not so young that he couldn't eat. I mean, he was eating solid food, and he was like maybe like 3 months old. But you know, he was on the street. He was a stray at my friend had a friend who found him, and I had just lost one of my cats, and I was like, well, I'll take him. And so maybe I became the mama. He's needy. Like, oh my God, at night he's like up around your head. Love me. Just love me. But I digress. So those are my whips. I don't think I'm going to do Mania. Or if I do, I'm going to do, it's going to be a continuation of what I've been doing, which is really just working on anything I have in progress. Because I really want to get those down. I do have ones I want to start, but I'm feeling the need to finish some of the things that I have going. And I have a small to do for StitchCon, and I have a small to do for an exchange. So those are going to be my new starts in the next month. So but in the meantime, like I want to really get up to date on Harbor Haven, Darren's gift. The dragon has to get done probably in the next week or so. Yeah, so I don't think I'm doing like a technical mania thing. I'm just gonna continue in my groove. Okay, haul. This is also a part of the gift my friend Barbara sent to me for my birthday. I just think it's so beautiful. I wanted to share it with you. It is, she had sent me previously as a gift, Land That I Love, which is the round, it goes on this little bowl here. And it's Land That I Love was one of the charts in the series. So she sent me this fabric. It's really beautiful. I might have to get more of this. I don't know what I would stitch on it. It's so pretty. And it is 32 count Ancient Belfast by Picture This Plus. And I just think it's so pretty. But she sent a note and she said, this is for the Land That I Love chart. And she got a large piece and then just split it between us, which was genius. I thought that was such a great idea. So now I have the fabric for that chart. I'll probably kit that up because I think that would be a quick win maybe this summer after I get all my smalls for smalls and exchange things done. So that was something I received today, just this morning. I'm part of the Silver Needle Circle Stitching. What's the name of it? It's a club. And this is the latest in the club shipments. And I just received this morning. So this is exclusive to the club. Love it. Little House Needleworks. The Stitching Bee. Isn't that cute? And it comes, it's a kit, so it comes with all the trims and the floss and the backing fabric and then the honeycomb fabric for the top for the pillow. So pretty, isn't it? I love the colors. And then also, as part of that, is a little bee needle minder. Can't see that very well. Take that out. Pretty. One thing I wanted to mention, and I didn't write her name down, darn it, and I just started watching her. She's very new to Flosstube. I'll find her link and I'll include it below. She's a shop owner, I think in Ohio, and she just started, she only has like 2 videos out, so I'll definitely, if you want to get caught up on her videos, they're pretty short. And I'm sorry, I don't remember, like, I apologize, I don't remember your name off the top of my head. She was doing her video and she had a beautiful bee pin on. This is something, again, the genius of people. She was talking about using your needle minders as jewelry, so dig it. I never would have thought of this. I watched her video, I was like, why did I never think of that? Put your needle minder on, wear it as a pin. I was like, what? My life is forever changed. Isn't that neat? I'm like, what a great idea. Because, you know, I have a little cube of needle minders that I can now wear as jewelry. Right? Life-changing. Like, look at this needle minder I have. I got this years ago. But wouldn't that pumpkin be great to put on like a cardigan? Even the Hawk Run Hollow ones. I mean, hey, go to Vegas, wear your poker chip. Lion, look at the Paris one. Hello Kitty. And it's funny because I stitch in hand and I do the sewing method and I don't use a Q-snap or a hoop, generally speaking, for the, I mean, almost always. Yes, the bee's going on my cube. I rarely use needle minders. And now I have a magnetic board that I showed you in my last video that I'm using as a chart holder. So I thought, well, now I can put my needle minders to use. And then I saw her video about using them as jewelry, and I was like, I need more needle minders. All of a sudden, like, I need one for every holiday, for every occasion, for every outfit, every color, things that like. Now I'm going to look for Beatles needle minders because, you know. So anyway, so that was. See how I get, like I do. I go down the rabbit hole, don't I? And you're probably like, keep it on track, Cap. Keep it on track. Okay. I did get my monthly Color and Cotton fabric. And this is called Biscotti. It's every month. Maybe I'm just a fabric lover. Isn't that beautiful? So that's Biscotti Color and Cotton. And it is a 32 count, quarter yard. And then I did pick up, well, that's the last of a market haul. I got these on Stash and Load. These are very old Kathy Barrick charts. And this is 7 stars. I just thought it was really pretty. And this one I love. Live with the creatures among the plants of the earth. Again, Kathy Barrick. It's an oldie. Isn't that pretty though? Look at the cow on the back. Right. And the sheep. So I got this from Stash and Load. They were maybe like $5 a piece, maybe. And then this is kind of the last of my, well, one was not market. But I blame this on Leanne and Barb. Lost and Floss did a tutorial on how to finish Wintertime by New York Dreamer. So I went out and I was like, I already had Wintertime in my stash. But then I found Springtime. So it's their fault. But I think it's so pretty with the birds. So thanks, Barb and Leanne, making me spend my money. They did it. They did a video recently. Like it's their very most recent video. And I had asked the question, I'm like, can I come and just like hang out with you in your craft room? Barb was like, yeah, there's an overhang. We'll stick you out on the ledge outside. And I had images of like sitting there like a gargoyle outside the craft room. And then they were talking about traveling, and I'm like, could you just pull me in off the roof? I comment on it because I was laughing too hard. At one point, I literally had tears rolling down my eyes because I just had this image of me sitting up there like a gargoyle on the ledge. And maybe that just came from like watching all the footage from Notre Dame and the gargoyles. I want to be inside. Don't stick me out there in the middle of winter up in Wisconsin or Minnesota. Where are you? Minnesota. Wisconsin. Up there in the Great White North. I mean, I'm a northern girl, but I'm not that northern. Okay. Last of haul is Friends of the Mill, Chessie and me. And then the Scarlet House is last of my haul. In a perfect world, you would find me here with the birds and the flowers and the dogs and the deer. Somewhere I'm going to have to put cats in there. Maybe with the birds, with the birds and the cats and the dog and the deer. Maybe I'll have to change that out. So that is it for today. Um, yeah. Game of Thrones update. You don't want a Game of Thrones update, do you? No, you don't. You don't. But let me just say, I got my way. Down in the man cave with the lights out. Watching Game of Thrones, the premiere. And Darren watched it with me. And didn't say a word. I think he was afraid that if he talked in the middle of it, I would be like, rah! I'd go all dragon on him. So yeah. So now he's going to watch the final season. And now I think he's kind of like, he was asking me something the other day about it. And I was like, you need to watch all 7. He was like, yeah. And I'm like, well, it's on demand. I mean, we have HBO on demand, so you can watch all of them. All right. I'm going to ramble. So I'm going to say goodbye for now. Thanks again for spending some time with me. It's always a pleasure to spend time with you. I hope you have a great couple of weeks. Happy Passover to those who celebrate Passover. Happy Easter to those who celebrate Easter. And happy spring to everyone. And happy stitching as well. I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Until then, be well. Peace.